Good evening, everyone, and sincerest apologies. I called it wrong. We've been discussing this for a little while. I mean, I couldn't be more delighted. I didn't think they would reopen the investigation. They have. Pam Bondi came out earlier, I think it was today, and said that they are going to go back into all of the files from the beginning. And with complete transparency, they're going to go through everything. This was actually, to everyone's shock, at the behest of Donald Trump, who said that he wanted the files re-examined so that it could all be put to a rest finally once and for all. So yes, indeed, Pam Bondi did today announce that they are reopening the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. Someone kill me, please.
See, I get why people voted for him. Because even before he came on the scene, America had the most corrupt political system in the Western world. It's been running on corporate money, secret money, billionaire money, both sides. And it's worse than ever now. Citizens United was the worst court decision in modern American history. And when members of Congress aren't begging for money from lobbyists, they're trying to dodge getting carpet bombed by these super PACs. Senators get threatened every day with millions and millions of dollars of attack ads over the votes that we take. And see, this is why nothing works for ordinary people. It's not because of woke college kids or trans students or because there are interracial couples in cereal commercials. It's because the people's elected representatives don't represent the people, they represent the donors. And that corruption is why they just defunded nursing homes to cut taxes for the rich. Corruption is why you pay a fortune for prescriptions. Corruption is why your insurance claim keeps getting denied. Corruption is why hedge funds get to buy up all the houses in your neighborhood, driving you out of the market, and then your corporate landlord ignores your calls during a gas leak. Corruption is why that ambulance costs $3,000 after you just had to get your choking toddler to the hospital. So Trump promised to attack a broken system. I get it. Ripe target. But here's the thing, he's a crook and a con man, and he wants to be a king. Yes, the system really is rigged, but Trump's not unrigging it, he's re-rigging it for himself.
Everyone, and welcome to the rundown. That was Senator John Ossoff, and we thought it appropriate to play. We're going to get back to playing the snarky cold opens later, but we thought that one appropriate. We have a lot to talk about today, and good news, bad news, I guess. I think Trump is in a staggering amount of trouble, and you sit there, and I say that, and you sit there and say, well, yeah. It's like, no, I mean, I think he really is. So far, he's been able to get out of just about everything. I think the time of that happening is rapidly reaching an end. So let's talk about just sort of the smaller things first so we can focus on that. A judge has given an ex-officer nearly 3 years in prison in the Breonna Taylor raid. Now, if you recall the Breonna Taylor raid, they were looking for drugs. They broke into the apartment of Breonna Taylor. They fired the apartment next door, if I recall, thought they were breaking into that apartment. A man from there fired into the Breonna Taylor apartment. The officers fired back. There was some, the man, Brett Hankson, who was convicted, didn't actually hit anybody, but he was in the view of the U.S. District Judge, he was the most callous and reckless, firing 10 shots through the wall without aiming at any targets, without caring for what was in the background, just fired completely through the wall. The Justice Department had originally wanted him to get a significantly stronger sentence. Then this Justice Department came into office and recommended that he get probation, just, nothing. The judge said that probation would be wildly inappropriate for an officer with such callous disregard, and it would be offensive to the jury who had deliberated and found him guilty, and he was therefore sentenced to 3 years in prison. According to the San Antonio Express News, Texas is among the nation's worst states for quality of life in 2025. Yeah. In other breaking news, okay. Apparently they are in the top 3 states for businesses. If you're a business and you're looking to take advantage of, looking to work with the people in a state, apparently Texas is the place to go. The quality of life score for Texas for the year 2025 was registered at 72 out of 255 possible points, giving it an F. Lower states were Tennessee and Tennessee. Indiana edged them out by 1 point at a whopping 73. So I mention that only because the Texas governor seems to really enjoy talking about how good he is and how much he's done for the state, for the corporations or for the people, because at some point the people need to figure out that nothing, and I mean nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, is going the way it should for those people, unless they like living in they're 47th in education last I checked. They may have made it all the way up to 44. And they, their entire electrical grid is collapsing. And believe me, this is the beginning as climate change continues, and they haven't prepared for it. Speaking of things that will affect Texas and any number of other places coming up, this letter was sent to all television stations across the United States. It is from the U.S. State Department of Commerce, and it says Office, Executive Office of the State of Nebraska, was issued actually by NOAA, and applies to everyone. All organizations are hereby directed to close businesses regarding the weather, all hazards, radio maintenance. It is a stop work order for the NOAA weather and all hazard radio maintenance. So I think the goal is that if you live in Texas and you enjoy camping and you want to camp in a area that's flood prone, best not to have a warning system. That way you don't have to justify why you didn't use it. Makes perfect sense to me. Anyways, this is nationwide, affects everybody unless your state has its own warning system. But the problem is all the state warning systems that I'm aware of tend to rely on NOAA equipment that's already in place because they have the right to access it. So I have no idea what my guess is. This is going to be a negative to weather warning and information entirely across the board. Stephen Colbert has been canceled. He will continue doing the Tonight Show all the way up to the end of his contract, which is at least a couple more months, I believe. The network has said that and they're going. It's next May, so he's got a little over a little under a year left in his contract. But the show is canceled. Whether this means the Late Show will be gone, which has been around forever with different hosts, or whether they're just getting rid of him, nobody knows. There is speculation that this is in part because he called Paramount Pictures, or Paramount, which was the parent organization of CBS, which owns the Late Show. He said that they were guilty of bribery in paying off Donald Trump's demands that he either get paid or he was going to sue, and all of these. I forget which one it was. I remember the incident. I forget which one it is. Trump threatens so many people. It was identical to what he did with the law firms, which is he threatened all of the law firms. Oh yeah, he said he was going to pull their broadcasting license, and then they paid. And he said it's a bribe, it's a shakedown. He called it out for what it is. Having said that, there is a reality that CBS is using as their defense, which is that due to streaming services, over-the-air networks, even ones that rebroadcast on YouTube, and you can get the Colbert Show on YouTube. I watch it on YouTube. I'm a big fan of Stephen Colbert, as I suspect most of our audience is. Their revenue is down by half over the last 4 years, and it is for all of them. CBS, ABC, NBC, for all of them. They're losing to Hulu, YouTube, Amazon, and all of the streaming services. You could argue, well, you could get rid of Jimmy Fallon, you could get rid of any number of others. Instead, they got rid of their biggest draw, but also their most expensive show. So whether it was because of his relentless and justified attacks on Donald Trump or because of money, he has been canceled. The show will continue through May. Look for vicious attacks on Paramount, because the reason they have to pay him either way. So I guess they figured, let's keep him on the air for the ad revenue. That really may turn out to be a really big mistake, because he is now completely unshackled. He can say whatever the hell he wants now. So, at any rate, we'll see how that goes. But first of all, getting rid of him is the end of an era. If they actually close the Late Show program, which is what it looks like they're saying they're going to do, it is the end of an era. One that I think we all saw coming due to streaming services. But nonetheless, that's what it means. So. Now let's see. There was, I think, one or two other issues I wanted to get to before I got to our main story. Let's see. Oh, yes. In fact, this one requires some footage that I've had difficulty with. Let me see. I'm going to try one more time to obtain this footage, because I think it's worth getting. Israel. Somebody had mentioned that we shouldn't, at the as we consider everything that's going on with Donald Trump, we shouldn't forget what's happening in other countries, places like Israel, and we are not. Trump is right now somewhat, well, is he more important than Israel? I don't know. We still have genocide occurring in Israel. We still have people starving to death. We have ostensibly plans to correct the problem, but there's very little motion on those plans. Donald Trump is ostensibly the leader of the free world. He is certainly the dismantler of it. And if, and we covered we have a link to our Epstein video, which already needs to be updated because more shit comes out every day. But we have a link to the video. I think you'll find it an excellent primer. It's only about 20-25 minutes, but it tells you why Epstein is important. One of the reasons it's important is because it is entirely possible that, among others, Epstein was working for Mossad. And if he was blackmailing presidents into looking the other way when Israel commits genocide, I've got to tell you, it would explain a lot in my mind, because I've been trying to figure out why this country, which has, we've always done crooked shit. I mean, we overturned the democratically elected government of Iran and installed the Shah. He was overthrown, and then they turned into a dictatorship. Before that, women could wear bikinis. I mean, it's no joke the damage we did by overthrowing a democratically elected country, and it's not the first time. So we do stuff, but I don't recall us ever going on the floor of the United Nations and voting with a country that is actively committing genocide, irrefutably, of 2.1 million people, many of them children, and doing it by starving them to death, and being the only country that votes with them. China's done that a whole bunch of times. Okay, China does that all the time. That's a China thing. Russia, they do that, right? This is the first time I recall us ever doing that. And our president and our leader just looked the other way, like that shit didn't happen. So it is one thing that, in my view, would certainly explain that kind of behavior to me. But at any rate, so what they are now doing, now that it looks like, I mean, food may start getting into Gaza, and people may begin to have their lives restored and to be able to operate. This is not Gaza as it looks today. It's not. This is Gaza as it looks today. That was a controlled demolition by Israel of a number of Israeli buildings. Buildings in Gaza. So again, and that demolition was done, I think, yesterday. So, I mean, the buildings, it's obvious you can't live in at least half of these, but the ones that you can live in, this is what Israel has done to them today. That is on top of almost starting a war with Syria. They appeared not to have, but they did attack the headquarters of the Syrian, was this Syrian Chief of Staff headquarters for the defense of Syria. This is the building. This is quite spectacular.
قصف جديد مبنى هيئة الأركان خالص. قصف جديد يا شباب، قصف خذونا بسرعة 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 بسرعة.
إذا استهداف مبنى هيئة الأركان بشكل كامل.
قصف ثاني. دمروه.
منتصر صوتك على الهواء.
قصف هيئة الأركان بغارتين. نعم قصف بغارتين استهدفت هيئة الأركان بشكل مزدوج من اليمين ومن اليسار. شاهدنا
All right, now Trine de Pasta has actually just sent us something through the Discord. UNFTR. Okay, I will say this. So it's not it may be the Writers Guild has said that they are considering suing CBS for firing Colbert, saying that they did so at the behest of Trump. Trump has repeatedly said that Colbert has no talent. He hates, and when Colbert was released that Colbert was fired, Trump said, well, you know, the only thing lower than their ratings was Colbert's talent. So Trend de Pasta said UNFTR is showing that it looks like Trump may have made a deal with them if they don't renew Colbert's contract, or if they fire him, they would ostensibly get signed on. I will look into that. Thank you for that link. It wouldn't shock me, and it wouldn't shock me if there's evidence that we find reasonably quickly on something like that. And then the last thing I want to get into before we get into sort of our main story is the ICE raids, which have been growing in brutality and intimidation. That ICE has become the new Gestapo. It's we're getting footage faster than we know what to do with it, which is one of the nice things about living in the era of the cell phone. What I'm going to do now is let's play. How many of these do we have? That's Israel. Which one was this one? Okay, we're gonna play a few of these for you. And this is a protester who was uninvolved in the incident. Apparently, the ICE officer was either reprimanded or fired. I think he was reprimanded for this, but yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and record this for my safety because you're being aggressive towards me. I need you to leave me alone and stop staring at me. I'm asking you to leave me. I'm trying to eat my dinner. I don't need you to argue with me. I need you, sir, to respect my privacy and leave me alone. I don't need to take orders from you. You're not my boss. Your colleague is asking you to calm down. I'm asking you to calm down. I need you to calm down and stop harassing me. Leave me alone and stop staring at me. You're making me uncomfortable. That's good. You want the people in the hospital lobby to be uncomfortable with you here. What was that?
You have no business.
I have no business to be here?
But you get paid for this.
I'm getting paid for this? That's some kind of conspiracy theory. I'm a concerned community member who's holding space for my family. So you need to stop harassing me, or else I'm going to send this to the news. Leave me alone.
Let him go.
You are not a federal agent to begin with. I'm not touching you. Identify yourself.
I included this one just as a reminder to myself. So there's been an effort now to tow ICE vehicles, and what's happening is people are working together in loose networks to notify when the ICE vehicles get loaded up and head out. They track them, and then when the ICE gets out to make their raids, or even just to go do lunch or anything like that, they are being towed.
This is ICE walking down my street. There's got to be 50 of them? What the fuck is going on here? Shit.
And then we have one more. Let me just, I want to make sure, I want to try to bring this up here. This one was, in my view, extraordinarily. So it was I may not have it. I think I know where it may be. Let me make one more attempt to snag this, and if I can't get it, I can't get it. I had it a minute ago, and what can I say? Sometimes files just, it may have been Epstein, folks. It may have been Epstein. I do have it. So what's happening here is a woman is following ICE. Now, whether she's following them to report where they are so they can be towed, or whether she's doing it as a First Amendment auditor, I don't know. She does appear to be a journalist of some kind. FYI, First Amendment auditors I used to not be a big fan of. I'm still not a huge fan of, but there are a few who appear to do it correctly. In general, what it is, 90% of First Amendment auditors are people who go out, harass the police, try to get the police to do something stupid so they can put it on YouTube and say, see, the police broke the law. In reality, what they're there to do is to make sure that the police are following the rules, which they break far more. That I knew. My father was a my father was a defense attorney, and he had seen some things. I mean, he told his, maybe shouldn't have told his 12-year-old son all of these things, but I've heard some stories. So I'm perfectly aware, even in the suburbs, you can have problems with police who don't even know the law themselves. There's an audit channel that I think 𝐒𝐸𝐿𝐼's a big fan of, and I've seen some of the videos, and I'm sitting there going, wait, the officers can't do that. And the officer's like, oh no, we have the right to, and they try to kick someone off the sidewalk. He's like, no, you can't actually kick me off the sidewalk. Yeah, this is private property. It belongs to this house. No, the sidewalk belongs to the town and or state. It's an easement. Even I know that. And then they arrested the guy. What was the other one that they arrested the guy for? Oh, they arrested the guy for filming the officer and said, you can't film officers. Yes, you can. There was a U.S. Supreme Court decision on that some 10 years ago or something. You can film anybody who's out in the... And it was a Karen who was like, he's filming the officer. And then the officer's like, you have to stop. He's like, no, I don't. She's in a public place. She wants to not be filmed. Get in her house. Anyways, I don't know whether this is a First Amendment auditor or a journalist, but nonetheless, she was following ICE. They realized that they were being followed. This is what ensued.
If you know who I am, then why the fuck are you telling me to open the window? And why the hell are you fucking pointing a fucking taser at me if you know who I am? Okay, and you guys follow everyone. Everyone. You guys stalk people all the fucking time.
I just realized that may have been soft. Apologies if you had a hard time hearing that. If you guys would like me to play it again, I can. It's mostly swearing back and forth. She was tased by ICE. I believe they used failure to follow a lawful order. Having said that, I don't believe ICE actually has the authority to tell someone to get out of the car unless they have a reasonable suspicion that that person's harboring an illegal immigrant. ICE's law enforcement powers are reasonably limited. So, yeah. So, busy day on that front. I was not kidding when I said that they have decided to reopen the investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. Trump, and that is at the direct order of Trump. He is obviously getting desperate. What I'm going to do now is check for, let's see, we have 10 gifted memberships from Blonde Bombsheller, sent 10 in-time news, independent news gift memberships. Blonde Bombsheller, thank you so much for supporting this channel. Your continued support really means a lot. We all work very hard here to try to get the best and most important news to you as quickly as possible. So we really appreciate when you can support us by giving memberships and super chats. So thank you very much for that. So on to today's main story. Oh boy, Trump has made a catastrophic mistake, and he is in a tremendous amount of trouble. And I think it's only going to get worse. This may be. I think we've just seen the beginning of the death spiral down. I could be wrong. I think this week is going to be an interesting week, but in any case, he has made a cataclysmic mistake. It may be that no lawyer was willing to go sign off with him and do it, so that's why he had to go. I don't know why he filed. But anyways, here's what happened. Somehow, the Wall Street Journal got a copy of a binder that was made for Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday. It included thank you and congratulation notes from a whole bunch of people, hand signed, so on and so forth. In it is a note that appears to be from Donald Trump. It includes a nude that's been hand-drawn and then talks about allusion to keeping secrets and doing all sorts of stuff. And tells him to enjoy his 50th, and, you know, it was kind of creepy. Now, I will admit it didn't sound entirely like Trump, but I strongly suspect it was him, and we'll get into how and why in just a minute. The biggest reason is because the Wall Street Journal has said it was him, and the Wall Street Journal is owned by Rupert Murdoch, who also owns Fox News, and has been a reluctant supporter of Trump at times a very vocal supporter, and on rare occasion has gone against Trump. But nonetheless, Rupert Murdoch is one of the most powerful men alive. The Wall Street Journal will not publish something saying that Donald Trump did that with Jeffrey Epstein unless they get approval from him themselves. I guarantee you. That went all the way to him, and he said, do it. Now, first of all, he knows what that means. He knows what that's going to look like. And you got to ask yourself, how did the Wall Street Journal get into this? The how will get this. We'll get to that in a minute, but the why is also important. Why the Wall Street Journal? Well, whoever disseminated this didn't want the New York Times to get it. The New York Times has further reach. Didn't give it to the Washington Post, didn't give it to any number of... they gave it to the Wall Street Journal, who, by the way, really does do some great reporting outside of Wall Street, but they're primarily known for Wall Street. So why give it to them? Because they have unvarnished credibility with the right. It's bastion of capitalism. It's the Wall Street Journal. There's no leftist agenda there. If they put that out there, and if they put their name on it, and it's Rupert Murdoch. So Trump has sued the Wall Street Journal, its parent company, Dow Jones, and Rupert Murdoch himself. Now, for some reason, no lawyer would join the lawsuit, so he is suing per se, which by the person. He's suing by himself. Pro se. So, why? Well, it may be no lawyer wants to touch it. I find that hard to believe. You can usually find some lawyer somewhere who'll touch just about anything for enough money. But going up against Murdoch, unless they all believe that this is absolutely a losing case. The other thing is, maybe they all realize this is a trap and they don't want to get stuck in it with him, not the least of which also is he won't be able to pay them off. And it would be a violation of ethics. If they realize this is a trap and it's not in his best interest to file the suit, they can't file the suit for him. Any number of reasons. Nonetheless, he is pro se, meaning he will be arguing this case in court by himself. Who gave the Wall Street Journal this binder? There's only one person it could be, Ghislaine Maxwell. Not her personally, her defense team, who probably has... The reason she's not dead yet is because the entire defense team has all the evidence and they've been instructed to drop everything if she dies. So, why drop this? Well, she drops this. And by the way, the day after the Wall Street Journal published this, it was made available by her defense team to anybody who wanted it. So, we know it came from... And she's the only one it could have come from. She's the only one it could have come from anyway. In fact, she was the one who made the binder for his birthday. She took all the notes, so on and so forth. Trump has now sued. Huge mistake. There's something that I had said earlier about the Epstein files, which is I said there was no forum to view the material. What I meant, I chose my words very carefully there because you could have the State Department do it, but they'd have to be instructed to do it by the Justice Department would have to be instructed by President Trump, and he has given them instructions to find where his name is and pull it out, but that's it. if there's a lawsuit, then there's a forum to have these matters heard and aired publicly. And even if they're pieces you can't air publicly to protect the victims, there is a mechanism to do that. There's a mechanism to redact that, and that mechanism is controlled by independent third parties, not the Justice Department. So when we talked about Epstein's death, what we lost was any major mechanism for being forced to go through those files, because if they're going to prosecute it, they have to, and he has the right to go through them and the whole 9 yards. There's now a mechanism because Rupert Murdoch has just been accused of defamation. He has publicly claimed that this letter belongs to Trump when it doesn't. He has a right to defend himself. What that means is he has the right to depose Ghislaine Maxwell and have his lawyers go to her jail cell and ask her any questions they want to involving Trump's relationship with Epstein to demonstrate that that letter is genuine. So Trump has inadvertently just created a forum to have her deposed. Now, that deposition would be sealed, so it's not public yet. Why do that? Rupert Murdoch now is in a tremendous amount of power over Trump because he has the ability to subpoena just about anything he wants to with Trump's and Epstein's relationship. And Trump just gave him that power by suing him. It was the dumbest thing he possibly could have done. If you're Ghislaine, that's why you do it. Because if Trump pardons her, or if Trump finds another way to get her out, we had talked about the 2008 deal with Epstein and how Epstein and any unnamed colleagues, unnamed co-collaborators, had complete immunity from federal prosecution. One of the things Ghislaine is now going to argue is that includes her. And she cannot have been prosecuted and needs to be let go. And whether or not the Justice Department would go along with that kind of argument and just drop everything, or whether she can convince the U.S. Supreme Court of that is another matter. Or she could sit there and say, Trump has gone out and said that the Epstein case is all fake, which he has. We're going to get to that in a minute. So by saying it was fake, she has no reason to be in jail. And he has said that the following people were involved in the fake. Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, probably her email server, James Comey, a few others. But here's the interesting one. He said that James Comey helped make the fake Epstein files. James Comey's daughter, Madeleine Comey, is the one who prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell. She was fired late last week. Ostensibly, she was fired for participating in this conspiracy. She couldn't be trusted, yada, yada, yada. But if that's true, if her father made this conspiracy to fake the files, that's something that the defense would have had a right to know before the trial started. Oh, yes, the father of your prosecutor has created a conspiracy to implicate you in things that you didn't do, and he sent his daughter to prosecute you. We just thought you should know. Full disclosure and all. So she's got about 1 billion moves she can make right now. And what she's decided to do is to make Trump do something really stupid, which is open his mouth. By dropping this, he has now sued Murdoch. Whether or not she has a good memory on the relationship between Trump and Epstein might hinge on what Trump does next. If you're Donald Trump, you're looking at her and you've got a very, very big problem, because you've just made it so that Murdoch can ask her just about anything he wants, and it's going to be in court. He could withdraw his suit. He could sit there and say, oh, my bad. Sorry, didn't mean to. But how is that going to look? He's suing for defamation, saying that none of the pictures or the almost romantic love letter to Epstein isn't real, and then he withdraws. He may sit there and say, "Well, I'm not petty or what." Think of an excuse even MAGA's going to buy. None at this point. They're genuinely starting to become quite skeptical of him. They hate this entire situation. If he withdraws from this suit, I'd also like to point out, I saw this meme. I think Titan may have sent it to me, and no one who has walked the earth is more litigious than Donald Trump. If Trump is not in the files, he would have already sued Elon Musk for saying he is in the files. We mentioned that, and I think that's not. Yeah, Epstein outright said he's in the files, and he said it on Twitter, which he owns. So the biggest possible, and considering he's the richest man in the world, if you have piece of advice, I've never gone to law school, but I will tell you something that I think I can guess about law. If you have the ability to prove slander and or defamation, slander is a subset of defamation, but multiple kinds of defamation, against the richest man in the world, and he used one of the biggest social media platforms in history to do it, you should sue him. I'm not allowed to give legal advice because I am a lawyer, so I am allowed to give. I am not a lawyer, so I'm allowed to give legal advice because I'm not bound by legal ethics. Sue. Trump didn't even threaten. Notice he didn't even threaten. He didn't sit there. He threatened him, but he didn't threaten to sue him over that. Trump has, in fact, since admitted he is in the files. People have made a heck of a lot about this admission. I don't think this admission is nearly as big a deal as people are making it out to be. We will play it for you. Someone can correct me if there's a reason why the admission is very quick. The clip that we have loops it over and over and over because apparently you're too stupid to have heard it and understood it the first time. My apologies. It's not me thinking you're stupid. But, this came out, I think it was, I don't know whether it was yesterday or today, so let's listen.
And because it was actually even before that administration, right? They've been running these files. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. And so much of the things that we found were fake with me. They were run by Chris Wray and they were run by 𝐒𝐚𝐬, and because it was actually even before that administration.
All right, so what he appears to do is admit that they have found stuff in the Epstein files pertaining to him. He says it's all fake, but they did find it. Now, this actually goes along the lines of what was announced by multiple sources on Friday and Saturday, which is that FBI agents were told to flag every part of the file that mentions Trump. And so they scoured the files just for anything related to Trump. We know for a fact they found one thing. There was a source that said they found one thing, and then there was another source that said they found multiple things, but they couldn't say whether it was a large number or a small number, but there was another thing, and they had to like use sticky notes afterwards to flag anything that had Trump's name on it. So they're looking for things that doesn't have his name on it so that they can release that, presumably. The Pam Bondi has been asked repeatedly, the Justice Department has been asked repeatedly, why would you go through a file and flag it to see if the president is named in it? Why not just release the file? And nobody's given a good answer to that. So let me see. I think I've been tagged in this, and I wanted to report on one other thing that has happened since then. It depends heavily on the strategic goals of Murdoch. Maybe that the threat... I think June makes an excellent point, which is that, well, that's what they've done right now, is they've threatened him. Because here's the thing, she only released one thing. And that thing isn't that damaging. It just proves that he knew, and they talked about women, okay, they're guys. He could argue, I mean, the locker room talk, I don't know. But, yeah, so... the only damage this has done to him has been self-inflicted. Past that, I don't know that it does a whole hell of a lot, but it lets him know that she's probably got a hell of a lot more. By the way, her defense team has said that they have a lot more and they intend to release it. The Wall Street Journal said that it had more that it was going to release. That could be just complete and utter BS. It may just be her defense team is promising more to the Wall Street Journal and to who knows else, and then isn't going to release it. We don't know. But in any case, I think it's going to make for an interesting week. Yeah. So, it's going to make for an interesting week because he's got a very real problem now. He's got this defamation suit. He can't stop it, but he also can't go forward with it. He's got a very big problem, and information is starting to come out. There's this binder. What else is going to come out? And there's a lot of pressure. The fact that there are leaks coming out of the Justice Department about the flagging of I mean, this is if MAGA maintains their level of intensity. I don't know. I can't predict these guys. I had no idea that they would care about any of this. I really didn't. And I feel kind of ashamed when I say that because I'm implying that they don't care about protecting children. But having said that, when you cut food programs, I'm sitting there going like, there is a distinction, but still, I whatever their values are, I don't seem to understand them. And that this was the tipping point, not the grab them by the pussy line. That should have ended it right there. Of course he meant it. Of course he meant it. Of course he meant it. You can tell he meant it. And the people who most say, well, I go by my gut. I was like, what does your gut tell you when a guy says that the way he said that? That wasn't locker room talk. That wasn't bravado. And a, quote, billionaire, millionaire doesn't talk that way unless he means it. Speaking of, also over the weekend, people have been going over past articles about Trump, and a lot of stuff that we may have forgotten about, certainly predates in time, has been found, and some of it's been a little shocking to me, including a Justice Department 2006 investigation for human trafficking into one Donald J. Trump. Apparently, the investigation pretty much had him dead to rights until he won the presidency, and he buried it. A couple of articles I want to show you. First, let's just take a look at this. Trump involved in human trafficking, mafia matters, and this is Forbes. And by the way, they didn't get sued for libel for this one. He didn't try to but he shut down the investigation. All right, what else? Senator calls for Homeland Security investigating Trump's model agency. So his model agency was apparently also being used by Epstein, and what he was doing was Trump was bringing in women, charging them exorbitant costs to bring them in, to house them, and then to, when they couldn't pay off the costs or make enough money to pay off the costs, they would have to find some form of work, and that work would often start at Mar-a-Lago in the massage area. And then this was, oh, yep, that's a new photo of Epstein. And so the truth is, we've kind of been talking about this for a little while. And what I'd like to do is read from a couple of these articles. So let me find, let's see, where am I going to put this? I'm going to put this somewhere where you can see it. I know what I'm going to do. We'll put this right in the center. All right. So this is from Mother Jones. Actually, I think this is not the first one. Let's see. We all knew about the trafficking, the untold story of Trump model management, part 1. This was October 6, 2016. This talks about articles in the Daily Beast. this talks about models that were brought in who had no chance of working. They become, it becomes a debt slavery or fresh meat. Let's see. And remember, Trump also owned the Miss Universe pageant. Not the same thing, but not unrelated. Let's see. Subsequent MSNBC's Chris Hayes commented that Trump models seem to be borderline human trafficking, initially making the comment on Twitter and later dedicating a segment of his primetime show to the topic. Seth Meyers, for his part, did a segment on the Mother Jones piece as well, comparing it to an episode of Law & Order SVU. That's not news. Barbara Roxer initiated a Senate inquiry, which I've been told is underway. Mother Jones did a short follow-up, noting that Trump models' only responses were to point out that the story was from many, many years ago. Actually, it wasn't. Melania Trump sued a relatively unknown Canadian blogger and the Daily Mail over a related story, but otherwise disappeared from public view amid questions about her own strange and inconsistent accounts of her path to citizenship. And even as Trump ramped up his scathing rhetoric about undocumented immigrants, not one reporter bothered to challenge him on how he squared those public pronouncements with business practices. Not one reporter asked him how much of his own purported fortune was made on the backs of undocumented immigrants, from his Polish demolition crews to his imported child models, and why that kind of thing was acceptable. The universe basically gave a shrug and moved on. This is the Mother Jones article. It gets into now the Trump model management actually had a number of agencies underneath it, so they would enter these women into contests, pageant under different agency names. Let's see. I wonder if this has anything to do with why he doesn't want his taxes. Nah. We still haven't seen the taxes. How long has it been? Two of former Trump models deceive. If they ask any questions, you're just here for meetings. Okay, so this, what this is, I mean, this is human trafficking. This is how to get through customs. This is how to get models who do not have the proper documentation into the United States and to work illegally here. I will say this, and we've talked about this before. One of the reasons undocumented workers can be an issue is because when you're documented, you get protections that undocumented workers can't. So it's very much in everybody's interest to make sure as many people are documented as possible, to make sure that the process works. The process just doesn't work right now at all. And, you know, the solving of it by sending Gestapo teams walking down America's streets like that picture, going down the neighborhood. Who are they exactly going to capture there? Al Capone? And that's why they're doing it. Just like the guy in the hospital. They don't have enough employees for this, so they're just picking up people who participated in January 6th. The model of a, you know, of model citizen, model of polite and civil behavior. These are January 6thers who sit there and get off on the idea that their cock is bigger than everybody else's. So, anyways, sorry, I just, the bloviating, it's sort of like they're insecure, so they got to try to pretend to be an alpha male, and everybody else has to suffer for it. And they're the ones who do shoot a gun 10 times through a wall, and they're like, why is everyone mad at me? All right, this is another Mother Jones article. This one's on the Senator calls Homeland Security to investigate Trump's model agency. I'm extremely concerned about the claims levied against Trump model management. Again, as soon as there was a DOJ investigation, and I don't know what happened to it. It just seemed to stop after Trump got into office. And this was Box. Let's see. After speaking with former Boxer today requested the Department of Labor investigate the agency's employment practices, which include hiring models as young as 14 and allegedly housing them in as many as 6 to a bedroom in tight communal living quarters. Bias was particularly, Belias, that's the name, was particularly concerned about the treatment of girls, some as young as 14, who were actively recruited by the modeling agency. She told me that many underage girls lived with her in cramped dormitories. You know what? As soon as you're talking about models of that age, I mean, there are pageants for, okay, I'm done with the topic. I'm not, I don't know what, all right. So let me, I'm going to quickly close this out. And then we will wrap up the show. I'm going to check out the live chat, see if, see what all you ruffians have been up to. And then, let's see. Okay. There we go. All right. So that's what's going on. As I said, I'm anticipating actually a very interesting week, maybe two. Well, probably longer. It looks like, here's what's going to happen. We already, for reasons that we've gotten into many, many times, have argued that we believe that Trump is under the thumb of Putin. It looks like he's either deliberately or just through a bromance under the thumb of Netanyahu. He's going to be under the thumb of Rupert Murdoch and or Ghislaine Maxwell. So at some point, he's not going to be able to satisfy all of these constituents. So, and it looks like he's getting there. Thank you. It looks like he's getting there pretty quickly. This suit puts him in a huge bind, and that there are so many leaks coming out of the DOJ suggests to me that there are still people at the DOJ, the holdovers who've been there for 20 years who are saying this isn't right, and they're leaking out misinformation. So as long as pressure keeps up, something's going to break, and it's going to break reasonably soon. And the fact that he is pro se on this lawsuit against Wall Street Journal and Rupert Murdoch. Now, if I were Rupert I mean, I don't know. I don't have the greatest strategic mind for this kind of thing. If I were Rupert Murdoch, I'd move reasonably quickly on a deposition, because you don't want things to change. You don't want to lose your chance to get a deposition, and you want to keep up the pressure. You want to keep up the pressure. The more pressure there is on Trump, the more likely he is to yield, and the more likely he is to make a mistake, and the easier it is to manipulate and ply him the way you want to. So, you don't want to do it so quickly that it looks obvious that you're interested, but you want to get a deposition from her, and the deposition's sealed. Nobody's going to know what it is, but you get everything you can out of that thing. So, I expect that to start happening soon. We also got this. Okay, so I won't let them bury the truth just because it's messy. Stephen Colbert prepares explosive move to CNN after CBS pulls the plug on The Late Show amid dark internal war and secret payoffs, the shocking allegations that could burn the network from the inside out. This is, I'm trying to, my eyes aren't good enough that I can read the USA News. I don't know. Okay. Well, I think we're going to have to keep an eye on. Yeah, we're going to learn more about Colbert if CBS, in general, capitulating to Trump results in getting screwed over. It's happened so far, and thank God it's been happening. The first legal firms that capitulated are suffering to a alliance of law firms that said none of us are going to capitulate, and everybody now knows who's got integrity and who doesn't. So, it's going to be the same with this. I'm cautiously optimistic that this is the light at the end of the tunnel with all of this stuff. We're still a ways away, but it's the first sign of being over the hump, I should say. It's not the light at the end. It's the first such a sign where we've gotten over the hump. All right. Get Colbert as a guest. Yeah, if Mouty is going to be definitely pulling some guests for us. So, all right. Now, I don't have that as a raid, but I can look for it. I'm going to set up a raid for 𝐒𝐴𝐿, because he was nice enough to raid us. Oh, and he is live, and it looks like I can. Oh, I can. I just had to. Thank you for the link, Titan. Titan gave me the link. That's how I did it. So, perfect. So you guys are going to be going there afterwards, and he seems like a cool guy, and he was very nice to us on ours. And I actually watched him dissecting somebody else's work too, and he seemed very, casual, but paying attention and into it. So it was a good show. So we'll send you guys over there. And I think that just about covers it. I'm on the Discord. You can always find me on the Discord. You can find all sorts of other, people. You can find all the news channels, see how we do what we do. We're basically a community-run news organization. So you guys are the bulk of what keeps us going. So thank you all very much for your support. And look forward to seeing you all tomorrow night with 𝐒𝐨𝐮𝐚𝐫 for In Time, and hopefully we'll have some interesting stuff for that. Look forward to it, and I will see you then. Goodbye. Oh, I keep forgetting that touch interface doesn't work anymore. The Titan's going to give me. Don't say it. Don't say it. Just saying. Good night.